We all have desires, whether it's the longing for love, the pursuit of success, or the quest for happiness. But have you ever stopped to reflect where do those desires truly come from? Throughout our lives, we find ourselves wanting and chasing things we believe will bring us joy and fulfillment. But what if those desires aren't really ours? What if they have been shaped by something deeper, beyond our control? In this video, we are going to explore how our deepest desires are shaped by our biology, upbringing, and the world around us. More importantly, we will discuss how we can break free from the cycle of chasing the wrong things. To understand the roots of our desires, let's first define what desire truly is. Desire is defined as a psychological state of motivation directed toward a specific stimulus or experience that is anticipated to be rewarding. It can manifest with or without our conscious awareness. This means that sometimes we may find ourselves craving for something without fully understanding why we want it or where that desire comes from. To understand this better, let's take a look at the different types of motivations that drive us type A, B, and C. Type A motivations revolve around basic survival. Think of things like hunger, thirst, or the need for shelter. These are driven by our need for homeostasis, keeping our bodies functioning and in balance. Then there is type B, social motivations. These are the desires that come from our relationships with others. Family, friends, recognition, or even power fall into this category. Our social world has a huge impact on what we want, as we will see with mimetic desire later in the video. Lastly, we have type C motivations, which relate to personal growth and cerebral development. These motivations drive us toward new experiences, learning, and challenging ourselves. These different types of motivations can be connected to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a theory that shows how our desires evolve as we satisfy our more basic needs. At the bottom of the pyramid, we have the basic needs, what Maslow called physiological and safety needs. These are type A motivations, which are focused on survival. As we move up the pyramid, social needs come into play. This is where type B motivations dominate. Our relationships, the need to belong, and our self esteem. And at the top of the pyramid is self actualization, the desire to grow, learn, and fulfill our potential. When you look closely, it becomes clear that our needs and desires aren't always hierarchical as Maslow suggested. In reality, they are far more dynamic and flexible. For example, a monk may desire self actualization, spiritual growth over more basic survival needs like food or shelter. On the other hand, some of us might prioritize social status or romantic love above all else, even when other needs are unmet. This brings us to an important perspective on Maslow's theory, as seen through the lens of Alfred Adler's ideas. Adler argued that human motivations are not as linear or predictable as a pyramid suggests. Instead, he emphasized that individual psychology shapes desires in unique ways. For some, the need for power or connection may override the need for safety or even survival, depending on their personal goals and life experiences. So, while Maslow provides a helpful framework, it's important to remember that our motivations shift based on context, personality, and the environment. Understanding this can help us navigate our own desires more consciously. Let's dive into a crucial psychological distinction wanting versus liking. While we often think that wanting something naturally leads to enjoying it, the reality is far more complex. Wanting refers to the drive or craving for something, the pursuit of a goal or desire. It's what pushes us to chase after new experiences, rewards, or objects. Wanting is powered by dopamine, a neurotransmitter that fuels our motivation to seek rewards. But here's the catch: the act of wanting doesn't guarantee that we will actually enjoy what we get. Liking, on the other hand, is about pleasure. How much we enjoy or appreciate something once we have it. It's the moment of satisfaction or contentment that follows achieving a goal or fulfilling a desire. Example of wanting versus liking. A clear example of this disconnect is addiction. In cases of addiction, whether to substances, food, or even social media, people may intensely crave something but find that over time they don't actually enjoy it as much as they thought they would. In these cases, the dopamine system is driving wanting, pushing people to chase after the new hit, even when the enjoyment or liking is diminished. The distinction between wanting and liking is crucial. If we are not careful, we can find ourselves stuck in a cycle of chasing desires without truly enjoying the results. Love map attachment styles and personality styles. Our romantic desires and the partners we choose aren't random. They are deeply influenced by our life experiences, personality, and even our childhood. This is what Helen Fisher refers to as the love map, a mental blueprint of what we find attractive and fulfilling in a partner. Fisher's concept of the love map suggests that our experiences, particularly in childhood, shape what we look for in romantic relationships. Now, whether it's physical traits, behaviors, or emotional qualities, these preferences are influenced by how we experience love, attachment, and care growing up. For example, someone raised in a warm, emotionally supportive household may seek a similar dynamic in their adult relationships, while those raised in chaotic or unpredictable environments may be drawn to partners that replicate those experiences, sometimes without even realizing it. However, someone raised in a warm, emotionally supportive household may be more prone to experiencing the pink lens effect. Their positive upbringing might lead them to idealize their partners, projecting the warmth and support they are familiar with, even when it's not truly there. This cognitive distortion can cause them to overlook red flags or misinterpret unhealthy behaviors as signs of affection or compatibility. Now, this brings us to another key factor: attachment styles. Based on various factors, attachment theory divides our styles of relating to others into four types: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. A person with a secure attachment style feels confident and trusting in their relationships, while someone with an anxious attachment may be clingy or overly worried about being abandoned. On the flip side, those with avoidant attachment may struggle to form close emotional bonds and prefer independence. Lastly, people with a disorganized attachment often experience confusion or fear when it comes to relationships, often oscillating between wanting closeness and pushing others away. In addition to attachment styles, our personality plays a significant role in shaping who we are attracted to. Helen Fisher identified four major personality temperaments: explorers, builders, negotiators, and directors. Each of these styles is linked to specific neurochemical systems in the brain, influencing how we behave in relationships. For example, explorers driven by dopamine seek novelty, adventure, and spontaneity. Builders associated with serotonin value loyalty, stability, and order. Negotiators influenced by estrogen are empathetic and focused on deep connections, while directors fueled by testosterone are analytical, goal oriented, and often attracted to intellectual challenge. Together, these factors, our love map, attachment style, and personality type, combine to create a complex matrix of desires that influence our romantic relationships. Understanding these dynamics can help us better navigate our own romantic lives. It sheds light on why we might be drawn to certain types of people, why some relationships flourish while others fail, and how we can work to improve our connections with others. If you're interested in exploring your romantic temperament, I've left a link in the description to Helen Fisher's website where you can take her personality test. Philosophical perspectives on desire. Let's start with Plato. In his dialogues, Plato portrays desire as a complex force that drives us toward the pursuit of beauty and truth. Plato introduces the concept of platonic love, emphasizing that while physical attraction is valid, the highest form of desire is the craving for knowledge and the ideal forms. For him, earthly desires are merely shadows of a deeper, more spiritual longing. In contrast, Aristotle presents a more grounded view of desire in his work Nicomachean Ethics. He distinguishes between different types of desires, notably rational and irrational. Aristotle argues that rational desires, which align with our higher purpose and virtue, lead to genuine happiness. However, irrational desires can lead us astray, causing conflict and dissatisfaction. He introduces the concept of the golden mean, advocating for moderation in our desires to achieve true fulfillment. Finally, we turn to Buddha, who offers a profound critique of desire. In Buddha's philosophy, desire is often seen as the root of suffering. Buddhism teaches that our attachments and craving lead to a cycle of suffering known as samsara. To break free from the cycle, one must understand the nature of desire, practice detachment, and ultimately achieve nirvana, a state of liberation and peace. Together, these philosophical perspectives reveal a complex relationship with desire. Plato encourages us to seek higher truths. Aristotle urges balance and rationality, while Buddha teaches us to transcend attachment. Now let's delve into a modern perspective by exploring René Girard's theory of mimetic desire. René Girard, a French philosopher, introduced the concept of mimetic desire, which suggests that our desires are not inherently our own, but are instead shaped by the desires of others. Girard's concept of triangular desire adds a fascinating dimension to our understanding of human motivation. He argues that desire is not merely a direct relationship between a person and what they want, rather, it involves three interrelated elements: the subject, the object, and the mediator. The subject is the one who experiences desire. This person looks to fulfill their needs, aspirations, and motivations. The object is what the subject desires. It can be a tangible item, a person, or even an abstract concept like success or happiness. Finally, the mediator plays a critical role in shaping the subject's desires. This is another person who exemplifies what is worth desiring and influences the subject's perceptions. Girard further distinguishes between two types of mediated desire: external mediation and internal mediation. External mediation refers to a significant distance between the subject, the desiring person, and the mediator, the model or ideal. In these cases, the mediator embodies lofty aspirations that are admired but not directly attainable. Here, the mediator is distant, making the pursuits devoid of immediate rivalry. In contrast, internal mediation occurs when the mediator is closer, leading to rivalry and conflict. In this case, the subject admires the mediator but also experiences feelings of resentment, jealousy, and envy. Unlike in external mediation, where admiration can remain almost idealized, internal mediation fosters an environment conducive for conflict. To further explore the concept of mimetic desire, let's examine the phenomenon of female hypergamy. This concept provides a compelling illustration of how desire can be influenced by social dynamics and the mediation of others. At its core, female hypergamy refers to the tendency of women to seek partners of higher socio-economic or educational status than themselves. This pattern can be seen across cultures and throughout history, reflecting deeper psychological and social motivations. When we consider hypergamy through the lens of mimetic desire, it becomes evident that women's preferences are often shaped not just by individual desires, but also by the influence of the societal norms and the behaviors of other women. Women may be drawn to men who are perceived as successful or desirable based on the admiration and choices of their peers. This creates a feedback loop where the desire for high status partners is not just about personal preference, but is also mediated by the actions and desires of others. Now, we can observe these dynamics in both literature and contemporary society. In classic literature, the characters like Daisy from the Great Gatsby epitomize hypergamous desires. Her pursuit of wealth and status through her relationships reflects a deep rooted mimetic desire influenced by societal standards. Desire trap. In our exploration of desire, we have uncovered how biology, upbringing, social influences, and even philosophical frameworks shape what we want. But this leads us to an important final question. Are we truly free from desire, or are we caught in what could be called a desire trap? A desire trap occurs when we find ourselves endlessly pursuing wants that don't bring genuine satisfaction or fulfillment. This is a cycle many of us experience without realizing it, chasing after things society, culture, or others tell us will make us happy, only to find ourselves unfulfilled once we achieve them. Sometimes chasing certain desires can even lead to conflict and rivalry, as seen in the case of mimetic desire, where we imitate others' desires, competing for the same goals or objects. This imitation often pushes us further into the trap, as we are not only pursuing what others want, but also entering unnecessary competition that leads to frustration rather than fulfillment. Ultimately, breaking free from the desire trap means learning to balance our wanting with mindful reflection on what will truly bring us liking, genuine satisfaction, and enjoyment. By becoming aware of these influences, you can take control of your desires and align them with your authentic self. Start by evaluating your desires. Who or what are your mediators? How do they shape your understanding of what you truly want? And that's it for now. I hope you learned something valuable. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on navigating the complexities of modern life. I will see you in the next one.